Chapter 10. Joy. "Go, go," said Jack. Jack and Annie ran through the great Rosa room, through the next 3 rooms, and into the room off the back terrace. Then they turned and hurried to the huge party room, where the 1,000 candles had nearly burned out. They ran to the door that led out to the front entrance. "We have to leave. Good night," Annie said to the guard. "Thanks for everything." The guard opened the door, and they ran outside. "Keep going," said Jack. They hurried down the sweeping curved stairway that led to the giant square. A line of coaches was parked below, waiting to pick up guests. Jack and Annie saw Yosef standing by his coach. The moonlight shone on his 2 milk-white horses. "Yosef!" shouted Annie. Jack and Annie ran over to the coachman. "Ah, my young friends," he said. "How was your evening?" "Great," said Annie, "but we have to go home now. Do you have time to take us back to the gate?" "Indeed, it is early," said Yosef. "I can take you now, and then return for my employer and his family." Yosef gave Annie his hand and helped her into the coach. Then he helped Jack. Yosef climbed up into his bench and snapped the reins, and the 2 horses clomped over the cobblestones. "So tell me now, young lady," said Yosef, "did you have a good time at the party? What did you see, and what did you do?" "I had a great time," said Annie. "I was received by Her Imperial Majesty. I saw a room lit with 1,000 candles. I made good friends, met some zoo animals, heard a great concert, and saw a silly clown." "Excellent," said Yosef. "And you, young man?" "I did all those things too," said Jack. "But the clown was the best part. He knew how to make great use of his wits and his talents." Annie laughed. Yosef drove the coach through the palace gate and stopped on the cobblestone street. "Where do you need to go?" he asked. "Oh, this is perfect," said Annie. "We can get out right here. Thank you." Jack and Annie climbed out of the coach and looked up at Yosef. "Thank you, Yosef," said Annie. "Yeah, thanks a lot for the ride," said Jack. "You two are very mysterious," said Yosef. "You appeared out of the twilight, and now you disappear into the moonlight." "We're magicians," said Annie. "It would seem so," said Yosef, smiling. He tipped his hat. "Well, I had better return now. Good night, my young friends." "Good night, Yosef," said Jack and Annie. Yosef flicked his reins, and the milk-white horses clomped down toward the palace gates. "Nice guy," said Jack. "Let's go." Jack and Annie returned to the trees that lined the cobblestone street. "There," said Annie. She grabbed the rope ladder. Annie started up to the tree house. Jack followed her. When they got inside, they looked out the window at the full moon shining over Vienna, Austria. "Goodbye, Wolfie," said Annie. "Good luck, kid," said Jack. Then Jack picked up the envelope from their invitation. He pointed at the words Frog Creek. "I wish we could go there," he said. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. "Ah," he sighed with relief. They were back in the Frog Creek woods. They were wearing their own clothes again. Jack was holding the magic flute. "Ready?" said Annie. "Totally," said Jack. Jack carefully laid the flute in a corner of the treehouse. Then he and Annie climbed down the rope ladder and started for home. Jack was in such a good mood, he nearly bounced through the woods. The sun was going down, dappling the ground with lovely light air. The air was soft and smelled like new leaves. Jack knew a good dinner was waiting for them at home. When Jack and Annie came out of the woods, they took off running down the street. They crossed their yard, scrambled onto the porch, and banged through the front door. "We're back," Annie called. "Just in time," their dad said from the kitchen. "Dinner's in a few minutes." "Quick before we eat," said Jack to Annie. He led her over to the computer. He sat down and typed in one word, Mozart. There were 48,400,207 entries. "Whoa," said Jack. He clicked the first one. He read aloud, "Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was the most famous child musician in history. He performed all over Europe for many years. As Mozart grew up, he composed more than 600 pieces of music. For over 200 years, his music has brought joy to the world. Yes, said Annie. As Jack scrolled down, 3 words leapt out at him. He gasped. Listen to this, he said, and then he read to Annie. Mozart's last great opera was called The Magic Flute. Annie smiled at Jack. Wolfie kept his promise, she said. He never forgot us. The end. Well, thank you so much for joining me again, Halflings, and completing another book in the Magic Treehouse Merlin Mission series. I cannot wait to start the next one, but until then, if you liked this read aloud, please leave a like, and if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel to help support us. Take care, Halflings. See you next time.